Hi, my name is Dr. Heather Moore, owner of Total Performance Physical Therapy. Tonight we're going to talk about best stretches to do at your desk. So last week we talked about how to set up our working from home desk, and this time we're going to talk about how to stretch best at your desk. So one of the things that I have heard repeatedly is that people are getting more sore now because of the fact they're sitting more, but also the fact that people are getting up less because there's no real reason. There's nobody to go talk to. You know, you basically are hiding from your kids when you're home, so they don't really find themselves getting up as much during the day. So we need to kind of go over some things that you can do just sitting at your desk. And I recommend either putting a reminder on your phone or putting a pop-up on your computer somewhere to remind you to stretch at least every hour, so you're not just sitting there. And I know how easy it is to get sucked in to whatever you're doing and kind of getting lost track of time. And unfortunately, that's really detrimental to your body. So if you've noticed yourself waking up with some back pain or some soreness or some stiffness, you really want to make sure that you are, first of all, trying to get up more, but second of all, you're trying to do some increased stretching. Back pain, chronic back pain where you hear people taking medications or injections, doesn't really come from accidents. It can, but for the most part, a lot of chronic back pain that requires constant medication and constant monitoring is because of back pain that went unresolved for years. People who just woke up with stiffness and said it's stiffness, it's genetic, I don't need to do anything about it. Yes, you do. Stiffness is the sign of something going wrong. So just be aware that if you are noticing a consistent pattern of waking up with stiffness or being stiff during the day, that is a very good indication that something is starting to go wrong in your back. So pay attention to those warning signs. It makes a big difference and it'll help you in the long run if you're able to address it early. So don't just ignore it. Usually I say 2 weeks, and that's 2 weeks of stiffness, soreness, whatever you want to call it. Everybody has their own little words to kind of minimize it and make less of it, but whatever you call it, 2 weeks of knowing there's something going on with your back and you need to address it. You need to get some help. And unfortunately, just taking a steroid pack doesn't really do anything other than it'll make the symptoms go away, but you're gonna have to figure out exactly what's going on and how to treat it, and that's the only way to really resolve it. So let's talk about what we can do while sitting at our desk to help stretch. So one of the things that you want to do, first of all, obviously, is make sure you have a good desk setup. That's going to help. You're not slumped over, you're not sitting like this. Realistically though, chances are you are. So we're going to start with an upper body stretch that you can do. All of these things can be done just right in front of your desk, sitting at your desk, so they're not designed to take you away. You don't need any apparatus, you don't need anything to get this stretch done. So the first one we're going to do is just a chest opener. So we spend so much of our time like this. So you want to do something that's going to open up your chest. So you can take your arms behind your chair and you can clasp them like this, all right, and you can sit there. Now, some of you may not be able to get your arms together, and that's okay. You can take a towel, or you can hold onto the back of the chair. If you hold onto the back of the chair, you want to lean forward to get that stretch across the front of the chest. Ideally though, you somehow clasp your hands or grab a towel and you're back here like this. And you're getting a nice stretch across the front of here. You should feel it through here. If you feel numbness, tingling, pain, those are signs that there's something significantly going wrong, and you want to make sure that you address that with your healthcare professional. Do not push through those symptoms. If you are experiencing any types of those symptoms and you want a free consultation, either on the phone or in person, just call our office at 215-997-9898 and we'd be happy to get you in. So that's the first stretch. You want to hold that about 30 seconds and do 6 of those. Again, you may not even feel a stretch, but chances are most of you will. You're going to get a nice stretch across the front of your chest. Then we're going to go to our hip area, which is one of the most popular ones that we show. It does the hip, it does the back. It's a really good stretch. So you just want to cross your ankle over your knee. Now, for many of you, this might be a stretch. You could feel this in your hamstring, you can feel this in your butt. For many of you, this is going to be enough, and that's okay. You don't want to push this to the point of pain. You also don't want to do this in this slumped over position. When you do this, you need to be sitting up nice and tall. So if this is not a if you don't feel anything, there's no stretch, all you're gonna do is hinge forward at your hips. So you're gonna lean forward like this. It's not this. You're not gonna really feel anything. You wanna sit up nice and tall and hinge forward at your hips. Again, you wanna hold this for 30 seconds and you wanna count to 6, or you wanna do 6 of these. You wanna stop when you feel a stretch. You don't want any numbness, any tingling. You don't want any shooting pain. If you do feel any of those, again, come in for a free consultation. We'll look at it. It's better to get that addressed than just to push through it. And then you can switch and then sit up and lean forward. Here's kind of a quick and dirty test to see if there's something wrong with your hip, where you have something to be that needs to be addressed. If one leg is up like this and one leg is up like that, you are headed for hip and possibly knee and most likely back problems. So what is it from? I don't know. We would need to bring you in here to actually really assess it, but I see a lot of people that are a lot of like this. One leg's up here, they can't get it to relax naturally, and then one of them relaxes naturally. Now, if you can't even do this, that's a problem. The other nice part about this stretch is you can actually sit here for a little bit. You don't necessarily have to count to 30 or do 6 of these. You can pull your ankle up over your knee, sit up nice and straight, and do your work. And kind of let gravity pull this down. I wouldn't lean forward and go into the stretch, but if you're gonna do this and just allow that gravity to go to work on that knee and kind of just feel that nice opening in the hip and back, that's totally fine. And then just switch up to the other side. The next stretch I'm gonna show you is a simple hamstring stretch. So all you're gonna do, again, you're sitting up nice and straight and you're just leaning forward. All right, again, if you slump forward, you're gonna be able to touch your toe, but you're not gonna do anything except bulge your discs and irritate your nerve. So you wanna sit up nice and straight. You wanna pull your toe back towards your nose. Again, this may be enough of a stretch for you. You don't need to get any further than this. If you don't feel any stretch with this, then lean forward, nice and easy. You're gonna feel a stretch going down the back of your leg, sometimes even into your glute. Again, switch sides, 30-second hold, 6 of these. You wanna make sure that you're doing those. Again, these can be done multiple times throughout the day. The final thing I wanna show you isn't really a stretch, but it's something that you need to do constantly throughout the day. And all you wanna do is roll your shoulders up, back, and drop them down. Because all of us, most of us, have a habit of carrying stress here. And if we're not at our desk that we usually are sitting at, and it's not properly positioned, we're gonna be up here as we try to adjust our keyboard or adjust our hands so we can meet our keyboard. So you wanna roll your shoulders up, back, and drop them down. And it's literally a drop. It's not a controlled anything. It's up, back, drop them down. This you're gonna have to do repeatedly. I guarantee you once you get into the habit, every time you go to roll them up, back, and drop them down, you'll actually notice they're up here. This is not okay. This leads to herniated discs, this leads to numbness and tingling, this leads to fingers that don't work well. You want them down here. So as often as you can, just roll them up, drop them down. Allow them to have a break. It's not a stretch, but it's something that if you don't do, the minute you stop, you're gonna notice they just start to creep back up. This is where you've trained them to be, so most likely this is where they're gonna be. So if you get headaches, any sort of numbness and tingling, any sort of neck pain, it's because you're like this. So really you wanna concentrate on just, even if you just say push your shoulders down, you'll be surprised how many times you find your shoulders up there. If you are experiencing any type of pain or stiffness or soreness and you want a free consultation with a physical therapist, either on the phone or in person, all you have to do is call our office at 215-997-9898 and we'd be happy to help you. Thanks and have a good night.